China's closest friend in the G20 is Russia. The fact that the Russian President Vladimir Putin is even attending the G20 has been surprising to some, given the controversy over the recent downing of flight MH17 and the war in Ukraine. So what exactly does President Putin want out of this summit? Norman Hermont is in Moscow tonight.
For Vladimir Putin, his presence at the G20 summit in Brisbane ticks two big boxes. First of all, he'll get another big domestic popularity boost by showing that he's strongly defending Russia's interests on the world stage. At the same time, amidst charges that even now Russia is sending more tanks and equipment into eastern Ukraine and Russian ships are in waters off Australia, Vladimir Putin can show that no amount of diplomatic pressure at summits like the G20 can make the Kremlin back down.
This week, the world paused to remember the fall of the Berlin Wall, the symbolic end of the Cold War. But recent Russian aggression has reignited fears of a new Cold War-like front emerging. In the past 12 months, Vladimir Putin's Russia has annexed Crimea, armed separatists in eastern Ukraine, and been implicated in the shooting down of Malaysia Airlines MH17. The international community is concerned, but the Russian president knows that criticism from abroad just makes him look stronger at home. Norman Hermont reports from Moscow.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has a lot on his plate these days when he steps on the world stage. He's either denying charges Russia had anything to do with the downing of Malaysia Airlines flight MH17 over eastern Ukraine, or he's rejecting claims Moscow is arming pro-Russian rebels and undermining the ceasefire there. One thing Vladimir Putin doesn't need to worry about is his approval rating. Not every leader has a children's choir perform a song specially written in their honor. In fact, this song, composed for Mr. Putin's 62nd birthday, became a hit, complete with a video that has made these kids minor celebrities in their hometown, St. Petersburg. They may only be 7 years old, but they know they adore Vladimir Putin.
He is proud, he is brave, he is defending Russia from its enemies, from the war, from everything.
He is kind, he is polite, and he is also very honest.
It's not hard to find that sort of opinion in Russia these days, and not only from kids. This is Yaroslavl, 3.5 hours by train from Moscow, but with a provincial feel. It doesn't take long here to find more superlatives for the president.
I strongly respect him. I pray for him and I lit some candles in church for his health. Long may he live.
Across town, at a science fair sponsored by his university, we meet Alexander Rusakov, a university rector and a local representative of Vladimir Putin in a last presidential election. He dismisses fears that a rising personality cult is developing around the president. Mr. Putin, he says, is just a strong leader when Russia needs one.
We are not going to reconstruct the old Soviet empire. We are trying to be Russian Federation according to our constitution and according to the needs of our people.
At the local office of the pro-Kremlin youth movement SET, the president's image is everywhere. The sign on the wall features a quote from an admiring German politician. Could the Russians lend us Putin? They are aware here of the troubled history Russia has with leaders and personality cults. But they say Putin is no Stalin.
I don't think that today in Russia there's a cult of Mr. Putin. He doesn't want to make people love him. He just make his deal, make his job, and that's why people respect him.
But if Mr. Putin's popularity is about more than just respect, this T-shirt shop is a good illustration. The designer behind these shirts thought he could harness the wave of patriotism that followed Russia's annexation of Crimea. Even he admits he was caught off guard by the popularity of the shirts, which all feature the Russian president.
Many people think of Putin as a hero. Some people say Putin is cool. I think so too. He's good.
And his popularity extends beyond the country's borders. These buyers aren't even Russian. They're French.
He's a great president, and he do what he can for the Russia.
There aren't many left who challenge that narrative, at least publicly. Vasya Oblomov is one of the few artists who continues to parody Putin and even the mysterious green troops who seized Crimea. For the sake of their careers, he says, most performers avoid Crimea and the war in Ukraine altogether.
Most of artists, actors, musicians, they just keep silence about that. Nothing's happened.
Vladimir Putin, he says, thrives because many Russians associate freedom with chaos, a remnant of the economic collapse of the 1990s.
People may think that they do not need any freedom. They need only one man who will save us all, and only one man who will be responsible for everything good and everything bad.
Not long ago, a key political ally said simply, no Putin, no Russia. And for now, it seems many Russians agree. Since the annexation of Crimea, Vladimir Putin's approval ratings have routinely topped 80%. And his supporters say that's nothing to worry about.
Vyacheslav Nikonov is a committee chairman in Russia's parliament, the Duma.
Russia today is a democracy. Political battles here are very intensive. So the fact that Putin is gaining popularity is due to his policies, not to the fact that we're going back to somewhere. There is no moving back in history.
Not everyone agrees, of course, but with Russia's independent media shrinking fast, journalist and editor Irina Prokhorova is one of the few remaining dissenters who says Vladimir Putin is becoming a throwback, a Soviet-style strongman.
I would say this is a challenge for Russia in a way, whether we'll manage to overcome it, this seduction, or it will be very sad consequences of returning to this old model of leadership.
With every day that passes, it seems that old model is becoming further entrenched. To this generation, Vladimir Putin is more of a father of the nation than he is a president.